Hello, gorgeous. I am back today, and today we're talking about how to be vulnerable as a very feminine woman. So one of the big misconceptions about being vulnerable is that being vulnerable means that you must share it all or bear it all, or you must just overshare and just verbally vomit on everyone. And that is not about vulnerability at all. So first, let's talk energy. I always like to begin with energy. So vulnerability is the energy of an open heart. And this is actually quite scientific. When our heart is open, that means that we're not guarded, we're not shielding it, we're not in our head space, we're really in our heart and it's open. It changes the energy that's coming out of our body. There's been over 30 years of research on this. It changes the communication that goes into your brain and vice versa. The brain and the heart is always communicating with each other. And so it changes the way, not only how you perceive the world and how you communicate and how you come across, but it changes how other people see you and perceive you. Another word for this may be, it's like your radiance is turned on. You're in your body and you're not guarded and shielded. Okay, so when we're in fight or flight, when we're in fear, when we're in our head, that energy is different. It's kind of guarded, it's closed off, it's not very open. So being vulnerable is being open in your energy and being more heart-centered and activated in your heart. So you can do this with pretty much anyone. And this does not mean that you are telling them all details about your life or oversharing or letting them cross your boundaries or any of those things, right? So for example, in a casual encounter out and about doing groceries or whatever, this is just, pausing to listen to someone and being present with someone as they're speaking to you. That's your vulnerability right there in the moment. In a dating situation, it is, being really honest and truthful when the person would ask you, hey, what are you looking for? That's your vulnerability. Not you telling them your entire dating history, but saying, hey, well, I'm actually looking for my one. I'm looking for my life partner. That's you being vulnerable. Another dating example might be where someone asks you to become your girlfriend or be exclusive with them, but you're not looking for that. You're looking for marriage. So vulnerability in that situation would be you staying heart-centered and not getting upset for them for having a request, but just saying something along the lines of, oh, that sounds lovely. I really enjoy your company as well. However, I am not looking for exclusivity. I'm not looking to become any man's girlfriend. I am looking for marriage. So this is all vulnerability. In marriage, this looks like, not shutting down when your partner does something or says something that you perceive to be a trigger. Oftentimes, men and women and just all people in general, we've got different triggers. We have different things that close us versus opening us, different things that are childhood wounds or things like that, right? So your partner might casually say something, and instead of just closing up and then being kind of passive aggressive or just shutting down and being upset about it for 3 days, you just say something like, ouch. That's you being vulnerable in that moment. You just sharing your heart. Notice that all of these examples did not have a whole paragraph worth of story, a lot of verbiage attached to it. It has so much more to do with your embodiment and your energy, vulnerability that is, than how much you're sharing with someone, okay? So this type of vulnerability you can do with anyone and everyone. In fact, the best way to get embodied in something is to practice it with everyone. Okay, now there's going to be deeper layers of this that obviously you're going to have different requirements of entry for. For example, sexual vulnerability. That's only going to happen with your husband because he has earned and claimed that right to be in that position. Financial vulnerability will only be with people that you have that sort of a partnership and trust with. So there are some aspects of vulnerability that take time to build that are more long-term. You want to make sure that there's trust there. One thing quickly to say about trust, this is a sidetrack, but women do not perceive trust the same way that men perceive trust. So with a man, if you've been trustworthy to him for the last 10 years and you make a mistake in the moment, he's going to go by the last 10 years. He's going to say, well, overall, this person is very trustworthy. They're just having a bad moment. Women do not trust like that. We're not wired that way. So we come in and out of this vulnerability with people, especially other females. We can have trouble in these relationships because if someone does something right now that upsets us, we're gonna throw away 10 years of whatever has been going on and judge that person based on this one thing that they messed up on. And that person might be like, hey, what the hell is going on? Especially if they're male, because that's not how trust works for them. Just a gender difference that we're wired for, and that's okay. But just becoming aware of that can really help you remain vulnerable. I know in my marriage, this is something that we're really aware of, that men and women are different. So if there is a moment where there is a loss of trust, where my husband says one little thing or does something, I will immediately let him know, because he understands that I'm not gonna base my relationship of trust with him the way he does, because he's a man and I'm a woman. And so he has asked me, just tell me right then and there so I can fix it and I can correct it and we can go back to our yummy, trusting relationship again. All right. And of course, you know, I'm aware of this and I'm conscious. So I try to remain vulnerable and open even in those situations where I'm feeling like my feelings are hurt or I'm feeling some kind of way, if that makes sense. So these are all wonderful, delicious examples of vulnerability, and I hope that this helped you get a little bit more clear on what that means. I have my free container workbook linked below, so go ahead and sign up for that if you haven't already. And if you would like to start your inner work, I highly recommend starting with the Basic Babe Bundle. It has inner work in all areas of life, and it's a 6-step process in there that I still use to this very day. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.